Welcome, everybody. This is the first of the Scholars virtual open houses. I did post today in our Facebook group 2 pictures from our in-person open houses where we had a lot of the current BSEers with us. And so I am really glad that so many of our current BSE students have joined us today. I'm Claudia Donnelly. I'm the Assistant Director of Scholars. Dr. Mark Wellman and I have been with BSE for, this is our 12th cohort, and we welcome you. This is new, this is different, this is interesting, and we look forward to reinventing our Scholars program and keeping everything that is so great about it and working it all together. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Wellman in a moment, but first I'm going to ask the Scholars current students, if you would just introduce yourselves to let everybody know that we're on board. Go ahead. Deanna?
So hi, my name is Deanna. I'm currently a sophomore, and I'm double majoring in marketing and operations management and business analytics.
Thank you. Rishi?
Hi, I'm Rishi. I'm a freshman and I'm currently majoring in aerospace engineering.
Thank you. Adora?
Hi, I'm Adora. I'm a sophomore majoring in supply chain and marketing.
Okay, and Prem?
I am Prem. I'm a sophomore, double majoring in electrical engineering and math.
Okay, and Noah?
Hey guys, I'm a freshman. I'm double majoring in accounting and finance.
Okay, and Mujade?
Hey everybody, I'm AJ. Thanks for coming to our session. I'm a sophomore double majoring in finance and computer science.
Thanks. And Arthur?
Hi, I'm Arthur. I'm a sophomore as well, majoring in mechanical engineering.
Great. Okay. Just to review what we're going to do today, I want to just direct your attention to another video, this overview of Scholars. The Scholars Central staff coordinates all of the 12 programs. This is being recorded. I didn't start the recording.
It's going.
Okay, thank you. If any of you do not want to be recorded, do not want your voices recorded, we ask that you do jump off of this. There will be a video, a recording of this that you can watch at a later date. We just want to make you aware of that. So then if we will have lots of opportunity for you to ask questions. You can type it into the chat box, or when we have our Q&A after the presentation, you're welcome to ask questions. I want to welcome you again to here. So next, I'm turning this over to Dr. Mark Wellman.
Welcome. Thank you for attending the session. First of all, congratulations for your admission to the University of Maryland into the College Park Scholars BSE program. I'm going to give you sort of like a brief overview of the program. To sort of start with, we bring in generally about 75 to 80 students. About 50% are business majors the first year, and then by the second year, that number is up to about 60%. And part of the reason for that is some of the people in the program are in the process of actually meeting the gateway courses in applying to the business school. So if you happen to be in letters and sciences thinking about joining the business school, within the first year, you'll really get a great exposure to the business school. And quite frequently, we write the recommendations for you to be able to get admitted to the business school. So the program is sponsored by the Robert H. Smith School of Business. You see a picture of Van Munching Hall where we're housed. One thing that we do really well is sort of like learning outside the classroom. So you see the photo, for instance, at the New York Toy Fair. Some of the students that are part of this actually went up to the Toy Fair. That's part of the BMGT 110 Introduction to Business class. The other picture that you see is a photo of sort of a team problem solving session as part of our ropes course. And one thing that we're really into is the whole sort of sense of community. And the way that we actually structured this presentation is in terms of why should you sort of accept your admission offer to scholars. And what we're sort of looking for is a growth mindset, the ability to sort of want to sort of go outside of your comfort zone, curiosity to learn more about business. So those are some of the things that we value. But in terms of what you get out of the program, number one, it's a real sense of community. What we do really well is accelerate the group development process, whether that happens to be in the classroom, through service day, or whether it happens to be through social events, networking events, other professional events that we do in the business school. The common theme is really sort of building a really great sense of community. And part of the way in which we do that is we actually do require you the first year to actually live in Cambridge. The exception that we make to that are commuters. But we really believe that the dorm really helps create that sense of community. When we started, or when I started working with the program, Cambridge Hall was not very nice, but about 4 years ago, it was renovated. And it's considered to be one of the best residence halls for first year students to be able to live in. So you have great space. What that living space does is really allows you to create these really close friendships. And those friendships not only stay for the first year of the program, they stay well beyond that. So quite frequently you'll see that roommates stay the same the second, third year in terms of continuing to room with BSE students. And those relationships continue through graduation, so we sort of call it friends for life. And then they actually sort of continue beyond that. We have a really great sort of professional network. We bring the students back to the classroom. In addition to that, in terms of bringing students back, we do quite a few different like study tours. And quite frequently on those study tours, we meet with BSE graduates, UMD graduates. We learn a lot about sort of career development in terms of the career paths that they happen to take. So the alumni network is something else that we really see is quite powerful within the BSE program. But it's not only sort of friendships in terms of the student piece, but also in terms of faculty and staff. And just a few pictures here. You see the picture of me. You see the picture of Claudia, Professor Miller that teaches BMGT 110, and then Professor Ira Koretsky, who teaches the business communications course. All of us have actually been working with the BSE program for quite some time. We're really passionate about it. Quite frequently, we are the people that do write your recommendations and help you through that career development process. And one thing that, again, we really spend a lot of time with is in terms of how do we go about designing the classes. And we really try to do it in a way that, again, it's engaging. We're trying to do things like learn outside the classroom. So for instance, in the first semester, one of the things that we've offered is what we call the team adventure exercise. We bring in a guy by the name of Alan Gregerman, who wrote this book called The Necessity of Strangers. It's about meeting people that are different from you. It's about sort of stepping outside your comfort zone, which is a theme within the BSE program. So those team projects, again, are really sort of a key part of it. And then sort of through those projects also really sort of finding ways to really be able to sort of challenge yourself academically. So there's a lot of teamwork in the program. And we do like poster board presentations. We do a number of applied projects. The photo that you happen to see there, Game for a Business Challenge, that is a project that we've been doing for the last several years with Fox Sports during the spring semester. Another reason to sort of join the program, the courses, we look at them and not only sort of meeting BSE requirements, but also meeting sort of the university general education core requirements. So for the first 2 years, you're taking a wide range of courses within the core curriculum. So we start out with what we call like a scholarship in practice, an I-Series class every semester, or in the fall semester of the first year. We vary that course a little bit. So for your fall class, it's going to be a course talking about sort of leadership, teamwork, how do you motivate people, how do you communicate more effectively with people. So that's the course that you take in the fall. The second year, it happens to be the enterprise communications course. So it's the oral communications class. So again, both those courses are gen ed courses where you'd actually have to meet those particular requirements. In the winter, we have generally offered like some type of different types of study tours, where they sort of be domestic study tours or international. The winter term at Maryland, it's the break for most people. It's about 3 weeks. We start back the last Monday in January, so we have a relatively long break. So again, these are really great experiences for somebody that again wants to take an experience, and obviously given what's going on in the world today, we'll have to revisit those sometime probably August to September in terms of whether those will actually be offered or not. And then in the spring term, it is BMGT 110, which is a core, it's not part of the gen ed, but if you happen to be a business student, that is your first required course within the business school. So it's a BSBA requirement. And we also generally do some type of activity over spring break. The spring break activity as well as the winter term are things that are optional. So it's not a requirement. There's generally an extra cost associated with those because those quite frequently involve travel. So that sort of gives you an idea in terms of the curriculum. We do domestic and global study trips, as I mentioned. Hopefully, we will be able to do those again for your class within the first year. We go to a wide range of different locations. Many of the locations were originally based upon a class vote within the BSE program, and you see some of the locations that we go to. Again, they're domestic as well as is global. So the program is very academic. It is intended to be challenging, but we also have to have like a lot of fun in the program, and whether it's a sporting event or whether it's a professional event of going to like a different convention like the toy show or the motorcycle event or doing community service or going on a global trip. Again, we really want people to really sort of enjoy the program. So in summary, those are sort of the reasons that we hope that you accept the admission offer. So that's my overview of the program, but I think most importantly, the students can really sort of give you their perspective on the program.
Okay, I'm gonna just, based on who I see up here, I'm gonna call on Deanna. Deanna, do you wanna share a little bit with us?
Yeah, definitely. So I think one main thing that BSE helped me with was just giving me like that great foundation of business before going in. Because entering in as a freshman, I originally wanted to do like a bio track, but then I switched over to business, which is why I like decided that BSE would be a better route for me. And I think as a freshman, you take a lot of different courses your first semester. So if you're going to be in the business school, you'll take business courses like business stat, or you'll take like different gen eds that don't really kind of mesh well together. And I think taking BSE that first semester and having the courses that they offer was extremely valuable and helpful because it really gave me that framework and that foundation to what kind of business will entail for these next 4 years that I'm in college for. And they hit so many different topics that I would have never really thought which has helped me kind of pull them into my classes, like even to this day, and I can go back and look at the material I've learned and just really apply them to like everyday life and even from like a global perspective, because I did go on one of the trips that they offered. I went on the Australia, New Zealand one. So hopefully if they offer more trips in this upcoming year and you're like interested in traveling, even if you have like the slightest interest, I really encourage you guys to just
if you go to school, you have extra money to
see where that takes you, because the Australia trip was probably one of the best trips I've done as a college.
Deanna, I'm sorry.
Deanna?
Can I interrupt you for just a moment?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to send a reminder to our students and guests. If you can please mute your microphones, and if you can also stop your videos for two reasons. One, we just want to eliminate any background noise. And then two, stopping your videos will also make sure that we can maintain a strong bandwidth for a smooth transmission this afternoon. So thank you so much. And again, sorry to interrupt you, Deanna.
No, you're not.
Deanna, thank you. It was great traveling with you to Australia and New Zealand, and I do hope that we get a chance to do it again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next person I see is Graham.
So talk about, or just to be clear, for the BSE experiences, Ms. Dowling.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Graham.
Okay. So yeah, my name's Graham. Sorry, I was testing if the mic worked, but so yeah, one of the best parts about BSE is living in Cambridge. So I'm a freshman right now, and I mean, sadly our semester was cut short, but it was pretty fun while it lasted, because living learning communities really work because you're going to class with people that live with you. So a lot of these kids take similar classes. We have study rooms, so there's a lot of collaboration in terms of like doing homework or like studying for a big test. It's really neat too, just because a lot of people do different majors, so you get a whole variety of perspectives. My roommate, for instance, is an engineering major, but it's cool that that you're able to like just walk between different floors, and you'll find so many people in BSE doing different things. So right now I'm an economics major. I'm planning to transfer to business school next semester, and BSE is a great outlet for that, because it gives you kind of a foothold into what it's like to be in the Smith School. You take classes like 110S, which go towards a business degree. And I had done the West Coast study trip, which was one of the featured trips on the brochure, which is it's a great way to kind of engage yourselves in the BSE program, because you immerse yourself in a new culture, learn about Silicon Valley companies and kind of how each company has their own culture and what that means for their marketing and for their customers. So I found that to be a very transformative experience, and it's kind of energized me to go on and pursue business down the line.
Thanks, Graham. Adora, you're up next.
Okay, hello. So I'm currently studying business, and I went into BSE wanting to do business, and so I really appreciated BSE because I really didn't understand the depth of business, and so going in, BSE helped me to understand more of what I wanted to do, and I originally came in as business management, but after taking 110 and getting to go through in depth of each type of major, I realized that really what I wanted to do and had been doing was supply chain. And then now I'm on that track. But BSE really has allowed me to understand business as a concept and also just really put myself out there and try different things. Like they already said, living in Cambridge was great. I met my roommate and we're super close. And every time it's just been an experience. And I also did a trip, which I did Southeast Asia this past January before everything started shutting down, which was a really great experience to just see different cultures and be in a place that I had never been. And getting to go with BSE was even more because I got to see the business concepts in different countries and see how they do it, and then just compare it back home. And really, you just get to see so many different things that you would not think about, because BSE can help you like bring it together and help you bring out with people that you never even thought to talk to, or go places you never thought you'd be going, and just really help you understand yourself and where you want to be. And you just get to try so many different things. I think it's such a diverse program that it really just helps you in school and personal life and professional life.
Thanks, Adora. I enjoyed traveling with you to Southeast Asia. It was it's nice to think about.
It was very great.
As we're all home, staying at home. Okay, Noah, you're up next.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are scared coming to the University of Maryland because it's such a big school. And one of the best things about BSE is that you get your own cohort. You get to meet some of the best people in the business school, and they really become your best friends. Like I know that it might seem that they're just other students and you just come together and take classes, but you really do spend a lot of time with these people and you get really close. You build those relationships. And I think that another thing about BSC is you do a lot of experiential learning. Not to repeat other people's answers, but the trips are amazing. They're extremely beneficial in helping you see how business gets played out in the real world. I haven't gone on an international trip yet, but I'm looking to go into the UAE trip if that's still happening in the future. And I was able to go to New York this past February, and you really get to see buyers and sellers interact in a really great business environment. It's a very experiential time, and the classes are going to be some of your favorites. It's really amazing.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks. I was glad you got to go on the New York City trip.
Yeah, me too.
And Arthur, you're next.
One of the things that's just really different about BSE is the out of classroom learning. As part of BSE, I've gone to New York 3 times. I've gone to Pennsylvania once. This winter, I went to Las Vegas for the Consumer Electronics Show. And then I've also gone to DC as part of BSE. And these are just things that I never would have even thought about, but they are definitely like the highlights of like my college career. Just being in like a new environment and then having that business background that you develop through your classes to then see, like I've visited New York before, but viewing it from the business background that I've gained and visiting the different companies, it teaches you something that no classroom can ever do. And it just prepares you for real life so much more.
And Arthur, you're a TA for the BMGT 110 class, right, with Professor Miller? Right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I got that job because I really enjoyed the class, and Professor Miller was such a cool guy, really interesting to talk to. So I just asked him if he needed a TA, and it just really worked out because I've really been enjoying that this past semesters.
Great, thanks. I think Prem, I can't see you, but Prem, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, thanks.
So I joined BSE because I wanted, I'm an engineering major, so I wanted to get a background in business without having to do an entire minor or another major. And BSE has really allowed me to do that. As everyone else has pretty much mentioned, the trips are a very strong selling point. By going around the world really and seeing all these different companies, you get a new perspective. For me, because I was engineering, going around and I went on the Las Vegas trip where we went to the Consumer Electronics Show, talking to all these people who work for small and large corporations and coming out with new products every year. It puts a new perspective on what it takes to get to that level. And it really motivates you as an engineer or just as anyone.
Thanks, Prem. Rishi, you're up. There you are.
Hey, so I also went on the Las Vegas trip. I also went on a trip to New York for the Toy Fair, and those are amazing trips. But more than the trips, honestly, the biggest thing about BSE has been the ability to develop friends and connections. And I'm coming in as an aerospace major from North Carolina, so I didn't know anyone going into the school. I roomed random. I got one roommate from Florida, one roommate from Boston, and I thought the worst. I thought that maybe I'm not going to get along with these people. Maybe this year is not going to be so great for me, but at the end of the day, BSE developed such an amazing environment that I was able to have lots of friends within my cohort. I basically become best friends with my roommates. And not only have I formed these friendships, but these connections, because everyone is so driven and everyone's going to get to, everyone's going to be successful. Like, you can see that. And so being able to have those connections, knowing that you'll have not only people to talk to right now, but people to talk to in the future is huge. It's great.
Thanks, Rishi. I think you'll be friends with these people for a long time. Marshy, want to join us?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Maharshi, and a couple of reasons why I really love BSE. The first one is the soft skills that it helps you develop. So going into like the first year, you might think like, why do I have to go talk to strangers? Like, why are we doing all these activities? But you'll realize afterwards how important and critical these are. Like, so many people come in as a engineering major or something else, and they might not realize like, I may not need these soft skills, but every single employer and every company like asks for these. And we actually just got our Iliad results back yesterday, and I was like shocked how much like you actually improved throughout BSE. So you'll take like an assessment which kind of assesses like all these skills in the fall semester, and then you'll have one your last semester of BSE to see like how much you actually improved, and you'll actually see how much all these experiences actually help you. I wish that I could have gone on some of the international trips, because you know everyone wants to go on like Las Vegas, like Australia, New Zealand, but it's like you don't get the time that often. But like having the ability to go as a college student and have all these experiences so young is like really a invaluable experience. I'd say it's like amazing. And another reason is making friends. Like some of the trips I did go on my freshman year was Hershey Park. We had a whole day trip, and we had like a DC trip, the Talk to Strangers assignment, and I made like a ton of friends from those trips. So I think that's something that you really don't get in any other scholars program or like anywhere else in UMD as well. So yeah, that's.
Thanks, Marshy. And I think Deanna, not Deanna, I'm sorry, Jade. Now, Jade has been our student advisory board rep, very busy contributing back to scholars, and is a commuter. So you have a very unique perspective on BSE scholars. So.
Got it. Great. Yeah, so it is true that, so first of all, I try to give back to BSE in many different ways. So within Scholars, we have 12 programs, and I serve on the advisory board for these programs. So I basically help Claudia and Dr. Wellman improve the program. I communicate about what's going on in the program with the other program, with the other Scholars programs. So taking on a leadership role, one that has helped me grow my own leadership abilities, including communication, teamwork, management, organization. This is a unique opportunity that I got through BSE because I am in BSE, and as a BSE student, I took the initiative to apply for this program in the September of my freshman year, and it's a position that I've been staying with for the past 2 years. So this is, it's something, it's given me a lot of experience coming as a college student. And also, Claudia did mention that I am a commuter student. So while I do not live on campus and I don't live in a dorm, I might miss out on some of the I guess like living together sort of thing. It has not stopped me from getting very close with Claudia and Dr. Wellman. And so actually, I think a really big component of living learning programs like BSE is the relationships that you develop with your professors, including making them your mentors. So, when you go to college at UMD, doesn't matter which school you go to, in your like underclassmen classes, there's a really big chance, and you will most likely get classes that have like 500 kids. And so, it's really hard for the professor to get to know you. They won't know your name unless you go up to them like the first day of class and shake their hand and, go back to them regularly, right? So this is the situation that a lot of kids, doesn't matter which school you go to, across the country experience. But with BSE, you're in a small group of 70 students, and Claudia and Dr. Wellman get to know your name. And more than that, since like, again, as many people have mentioned, through all these experiences, through, whether it's study abroad or Hershey Park or these other activities, or just Dr. Wellman's teaching and Claudia's mentoring, you get to know Claudia and Dr. Wellman really well. So for example, I've asked them to write a lot of recommendation letters, and I'm still trying to give back for that. And, I've talked to them about my personal problems. So, if you're on campus, you're a young adult, it's your first time living away from home. If you have a problem, you can go to Dr. Wellman and Claudia and seek help. It is a really deep personal connection. It is something that you won't get unless it will be very hard for you to get elsewhere. And this is one of the biggest things that I'm so grateful about for BSE is the fact that, I haven't even mentioned half of why I love BSE and what I've gone out of it, but things like, again, just to recap what I've said, leadership experiences and also the connections with mentors and with professors. This is something that is very rare no matter where you go.
Thank you very much, Majid. We've enjoyed getting to know you as well. And before we, I guess, open it up to questions, current BSEers, anything that you want to add that your colleagues did not cover, maybe something you all spoke about different aspects that you're involved with, but anything?
One thing I'd like to add, so if you're curious, we have an Instagram page if you kind of want to see what some of the stuff we do. It's run by our advisory board, but in Scholars we throw fun events. So sometimes, like, we did like a Valentine's Day donut event. We got Domino's right before finals, and gave it to the entire dorm. So just little things like that is always nice to go to.
Thanks. Yeah, that is, it's been fun connecting with that.
I'll put the Instagram in the chat if anyone's curious.
Ah, okay, it's not on there. Yep, it should be on there. Great. Okay, Moya, Moya, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi. So again, students and guests, we welcome your questions. You are welcome to type them in the chat box, or you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask your question directly. I do have a question just to start us off. These trips sound amazing. Obviously, there's opportunities to go out of the local area into the region, national trips, international trips. With the ever-evolving crisis that we're currently under, of course, there's a lot of uncertainty as to when we will be safely able to travel again. But for on the call who are really excited about the opportunities that travel brings, can maybe one or two students talk about how you were able to finance these trips? Because of course we know many students may not really be able to see, wow, how can I finance this in addition to other costs that I have related to college? So any one or two scholars, if you don't mind sharing how you've been able to finance these trips.
I guess I'll comment because this was a big concern for me last summer. So I did the Silicon Valley trip, which was the cost of a normal 3-credit course. So in order to raise money for that, I was working as a lifeguard. And that was, it was my summer between my senior and freshman year. So it was just a nice summer job, and I had some money, and I wanted to travel. So I financed probably about half of it, and then my mom came and paid the difference. But if you don't have a job, there are other ways to do it. There are scholarships you can apply for. So that's definitely something to look into. And they have them for scholars, for the different schools. So you can make it work. If you really want to come, no one's going to hold you back financially. So there are a lot of ways to.
Thanks, Graham. I'll explain a little bit about it. The courses are usually 3 credits. They do cost extra, and none of them are mandatory. Like Graham said, there were scholarships available. The global courses are usually between 15 and 20 days. They cost anywhere, depending on their location, between 2,000 and about $3,800. That includes the 3 credits. It includes insurance while you're abroad. And it includes all of the hotels, most meals, any transportation, usually within the countries that you're traveling to, and includes any materials that you need for the course. It's a lot of fun, but there's also rigor involved because there are deliverables, we have meetings, and there are, there is coursework involved to earn the 3 credits. The shorter term, like Graham said, the West Coast trip, I believe, was about $1,800, and that included everything again, not your flight. Now, trips like to Hershey Park, we studied Milton Hershey. We go to Hershey. We met with the director of sustainability for the Hershey company. We met with a local entrepreneur who runs the restaurant there, had a great lunch in Hershey. And then we went to the park and enjoyed the afternoon in the park. That was totally free, except for the chocolate that you bought. We study Cirque du Soleil, for instance, because it's a very unique worldwide international phenom. And we had tickets, and we went to Tyson's Corner where they had their big top show, and that was free. We went to Harley Davidson and went for a behind-the-scenes steel-toe tour of Harley as they were putting together. It was the manufacturing center in York, Pennsylvania. That again was totally free, unless you bought a souvenir. So we try to, certainly we're always aware of the cost involved with college, but many of these trips, these extracurriculars are part of the program, and then the optional ones, we try to help you with financing as much as possible. So hope that answers.
And the business school has like a scholarship program that you can apply for. I think it's like a $750 scholarship.
Yep.
Great. We have about 5 minutes left for our session. I wanted to highlight a few other questions that came into the chat. Luke asked if BSE students make frequent trips to DC. And thank you, Arthur, for replying that as part of their first class, they were required to travel to DC on the metro. And that was a really good way to connect with other students, but also see how easy it is to get to DC on the metro. So thank you, Arthur, for responding in the chat. Ryan asks, well, I'll read what he wrote. I'm interested in business and finance, but my current major of environmental policy and politics isn't really a business track. Is BSE a way to experience the business world as an interest, or would that be better in the form of a minor? Claudia or Mark, do you want to take that?
Mark?
I mean, I think in the program, you're going to get a really great sort of broad exposure to sort of like the human side of business through like the leadership course. And then the introduction to business sort of gives you an understanding of like accounting, finance, human resource management, marketing. So it's a really good course to sort of give you that particular overview. There are people that do come in the program that, really look at that first year in terms of what they take and end up actually, changing their major to business. So again, sort of can go either way.
Okay, thanks. And we have another question, a question from Lucas. He's interested in hearing about all the exclusive resources that BSE has to offer. And he's asking, what is the job placement rate for graduates of Maryland's business or BSE programs, if you all have that information?
So in terms of the program, it really goes back to your college. So your college does have different types of placement resources. So in the Smith School, if you are a business student, we really have great resources to help you sort of get that full-time position. And the internships really depend upon what your major happens to be. So let's say that you're accounting. We have quite a few accounting firms that come through. They usually do some type of like what they call externship relatively early on. And then your junior to senior year, you can definitely end up with a sort of a really good internship with them. Most companies in the field of business use their internship program between junior to senior year to make full-time job offers their senior year to them.
That's good to hear. And Michael Schwartz asked a similar question about internships that I think, Mark, you just answered. Any other information on internship opportunities? Any other examples that you'd like to share, Mark?
Can I intersect here for a minute? And I think one of our current scholars, if you want to interject, our very first class, the colloquium, focuses on your resume, focuses on your LinkedIn connections, focuses on your outreach to our alums. We do bring in alums. We have an alumni panel to discuss their journey. And so we focus on getting you ready to be out there, which is something not all freshmen have the opportunity to do. And like Dr. Ullman said, the Hire Smith is very active if you are in the business school. If you're not in the business school, we connect you with the career services from the university. And I know the engineering department has their own hiring career services department. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to do something and get something.
Great. We are nearing our end time. And of course, we want to honor that end time for all of our guests. Claudia and Mark, were there any points?
There's one question that was emailed to me. Can we room with someone outside of the program and outside of the scholars as a whole? Moya, do you want to answer that, or should I?
Yes, I can answer that question. So scholars are, Res Life manages all of the housing assignments, but scholars are generally going to be rooming with other scholars in their program. There is a process to request a roommate that's not in scholars, but to be candid, those requests are not routinely approved for a variety of reasons. We definitely want to prioritize our scholar students over students who are not in scholars, because that is the essence of our living learning program. So to answer the question, scholars students or students in BSE would be rooming with other students in BSE.
Can I just add off of that for a second? Do we have time?
Sure.
I wouldn't let, if that's like a major concern, I wouldn't let that deter you from coming to the program. I had a similar situation. I have a friend who's in Science and Discovery of the Universe, which is another scholars program. So we tried to room together and I ended up going random. But these people, like, you spend so much time with these people and you end up taking a lot of the same classes and studying together, that they really do become your best friends. So I wouldn't let that deter you if you're not sure about who you want to room with.
Thanks, Noah.
And I'm just going to go ahead and type in the chat, provide all the student panelist email addresses again. You may be able to scroll up and see it and take a screenshot, but if I can get my cut and paste going, those are all of our thank yous, wonderful student panelists, and their email addresses should you want to reach out to any of them individually.
And Dr. Wellman and I, we're here in our respective houses, in our in our houses just like you, but we're here all summer. We are available by email. Please reach out if you have any questions, and we look forward to seeing you. Stay safe, stay healthy. We will we'll hope to see you in August.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Take
you.
good care.
Thank you.